Hey, I hope this video finds you well. When I was younger, I used to be so proud of how busy I was because I equated it with success. As I got older, I realized that any fool can stay busy and they'll always end up paying the price for it. I actually laugh now at how I wore my busyness like a badge of honor. It even allowed me to feel self-righteous. But pride always comes before a fall, right? Not only did my own relationship suffer, but over the years I've witnessed thousands of women pay the price in their lives too. I'm Nikki Green, a sexual marital therapist, affairs expert, and the co-founder of the Academy of Lasting Love. Now, before we look at the antidote for chronic busyness, let's have a look at the symptoms so that you can see if any part of you might be playing this card. A woman is over-functioning her time if she's addicted to her phone. She feels lost without it. Not surprising, really, because it's her lifeline to productivity, but it's also a great distraction for how awful all this busyness is making her feel. That's not the only way her phone is controlling her. The dopamine hit that she gets by checking her social media fools her into believing that her need for connection is being met. Hubby and the kids probably miss her, but they don't like being bossed around because she's stressed out all the time. Another symptom is that she gets bored easily. She sees time spent doing nothing as time wasted. She doesn't recognize the value of silence and introspection. She always seems to be in a rush. There just aren't enough hours in the day to get it all done. She has a hard time saying no when someone asks her for help, especially when that person is desperate, which often just means that they procrastinated and left it till last minute. This then causes the next symptom. She is often stressed because her important task becomes urgent, and that's because she was just too busy putting out other people's fires, and she didn't manage to get all of her stuff done in time. This often leads to the next sign. She's pissed off and self-righteously resentful way too often, which is inevitable, considering how she overfunctions for her kids, her hubby, her friends, and her co-workers. So what's the answer, you may ask? As with anything in life, the key is balance. How can you be as productive as possible with as little effort? How can you work smart, not hard? As with most things, the 80-20 rule even applies to this. In all the areas of your life, be it health, career, love, or personal growth, keep looking for the 20% of things that you do that yield 80% of the success and ditch the rest. It'll free up so much more of your time, 80% in fact, and it's called being efficient. You notice I said it'll make you 80% successful, not 100%, which brings me to the next solution. Ditch perfectionism, sister, and be content with good enough. The price that you pay for that extra 20% is often your health, your close relationships, and your sanity. It's just not worth it. The next solution to chronic overfunctioning is to give yourself the peace of mind, of mindful presence. Be aware of the things that distract you from being fully present to yourself. Studies show that it's crucial for both happiness and creativity to carve out time for this, either through meditation, yoga, or just contemplative walks in nature. Make sure there's no one or nothing to distract you from being fully present for you. How can you know what you really want until you have the quiet time to be alone with your thoughts? Give those you love the gift of mindful presence too. It's not purely altruistic. As your relationships benefit, so will you. The next antidote to chronic overfunctioning is to become really discerning about what you say yes to. Ask yourself, is this something I really want to do? Just that question alone is going to make you happier by feeling less resentful. Stop doing things because you feel you should be doing them, or you're a bad person if you don't. trust me, you'll still be generous, helpful, and productive by choosing the things that you really want to do, the ones that really resonate with you. Another step to finding more balance is to get really good at creating loving boundaries. If you don't really want to do it, say no, but say it in a loving way. It makes so much more acceptable to the person that you're saying it to, rather than saying yes and letting them down or not following through or being annoyed with them and doing it. Don't you just hate it when people do that to you? Also, you don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. When you are comfortable with putting down loving boundaries, it really opens up the possibility for creativity and the chance to create a win-win. A great example of a loving boundary is before you answer somebody's request to do something, don't be afraid to get a little time to think about it. Even if it's, hey, I need 10 minutes to think about that. Let me get back to you. Ironically, even if you then say no, often it feels better to them than just a knee-jerk reaction. Just make sure that you do get back to them in the time that you promised. Something to keep in mind when transitioning from this person who overfunctions into someone who just says no is that your kids might struggle or even feel abandoned with your sudden transformation. So gradually help them become more self-directed. Rather than do things for them, play more of a consultative role. Tell them they'll be doing more stuff for themselves, but you'll be there to support and guide them. What's the best way to sell them on it? Well, how are you going to be different to be around when you're no longer doing all the work? You'll be happier and less controlling, right? Let them know that. Anyway, if you'd like to start making some changes over the next week, commit to being fully present both for yourself and for those you love. Just start to notice where your mind really goes. When I started doing this, I was shocked to see how often I was either in the past or in the future. Don't chastise yourself though. Just make it a game and gently unhook wherever you are and just refocus to being here now. Of course, the fastest way to build this muscle or to develop this habit is a daily meditation practice. If you're used to being super busy all the time, it may feel uncomfortable to do less. You might feel lazy or guilty, or you may even go through a physiological withdrawal from the dopamine depletion if you're really committing to spending less time on your phone. Anyway, I really hope this helps you break the cycle of overscheduling so that you can live a more meaningful, vibrant, and fulfilling life. If you liked today's episode, please follow and share us on your social media platforms. And if you'd like a transcript in the future, just sign up for our newsletter below. Have an amazing couple of weeks. Look after yourself. And as always, keep it real.